On the edge of the galaxy, a top-secret military base called Station Echo floated quietly in the blackness. It was a place where the most skilled commanders trained, and the best warships were kept hidden away from the galaxy's watchful eyes. Commander Zara Kelson, a battle-hardened veteran, was stationed here for one reason: to prepare the fleet for the unexpected. But lately, something had been off. Commander Kelson hadn't been sleeping well, and her crew had started reporting strange systems failures. Nothing serious, just minor glitches, like cameras flickering, door sensors turning off, or weapons systems going silent for a second. Then, one morning, something happened that made her stomach drop. Her command ship, Vanguard, a top-of-the-line vessel, had gone completely dark. All communications were cut off. The crew inside was no longer responding, and the ship wasn't showing up on any scanner. Not even a trace. She sent a squadron of ships to check on it, but when they reached the coordinates, they found nothing. No wreckage, no remains, no energy readings. Vanguard had vanished, like it had never been there. The only thing left behind was a single encrypted message. It was short, just a few words, but enough to chill Zara to her core. "We found them. They know we're here." Back at Unity Station, the Galactic Intelligence Council had received the news. Their top analysts scrambled to decode the message, but every attempt was met with failure. The encryption was unlike anything they had seen before, an ancient form of Terran code. But one thing was clear: Vanguard had vanished the same day the black ship reappeared. Was it possible that the Terran ship had something to do with it? Zara was certain of it. She had spent years studying old Terran military history, especially the rumors of the elusive Shadow Fleet, the ghost-like ships said to be lost in time. But what she had learned from ancient records didn't make sense. Those ships were supposed to be mere myths, lost in the deep dark of space, unable to be detected. But now, it seemed they were very real. Zara had to act. She couldn't let this mystery slip away. She called for a fleet-wide briefing. The Vanguard and its crew might be gone, but she was determined to find out who, or what, was behind it all. Meanwhile, aboard the Vanguard, the situation was much darker than anyone realized. Inside the ship, the crew had vanished, but the ship itself was very much alive. The internal systems hummed quietly, as though waiting for something. In the dark corridors, empty seats sat untouched, and the engines remained eerily still. But deep in the bowels of the ship, something was stirring. A figure, cloaked in shadow, moved from the control room to the heart of the ship, where the main reactor powered the vessel. The shadowy figure wasn't human. It wasn't alien, either. It was something else. The figure reached the reactor. It placed its hand on the cold surface of the control panel. The ship began to power up again, but not in the usual way. There were no normal activation sounds, no flicker of lights. The systems came to life in total silence. From the shadows, the figure spoke, though no one could hear the words. "We are not forgotten." The ship's reactor hummed louder. The figure turned, walking toward the bridge. There, in the main control seat, sat Commander Zara Kelson's chair. Empty. Back on Unity Station, Zara studied the reports. The Vanguard had been a powerful warship, designed to withstand the strongest attacks, yet it had vanished without a trace. She couldn't make sense of it. No one could. Her mind raced as she recalled the stories from the old Terran legends, the tales of shadow ships that could disappear and reappear at will, ships that could turn invisible to sensors and take down entire fleets with no warning. The stories had always seemed too unbelievable. But now she wasn't so sure. Zara ordered her fleet to prepare for a full-scale search. The disappearance of the Vanguard was just the beginning. They had to find the black ship before it struck again. However, just as her orders were sent out, a new report arrived, this time from the border stations. The black ship had been spotted again. This time, it wasn't alone. It had company. A massive fleet of ships, each more terrifying than the last, had appeared out of nowhere and was heading toward the heart of the galaxy. They were silent, no communications, no signals, just darkness. Zara stood frozen in shock. The black ship wasn't just a scout. It was the beginning of something much worse. The battle raged on, the Terran fleet fighting with everything they had. But it wasn't enough. The black ships continued to advance, their firepower overwhelming. One by one, Zara's ships fell. Back on Earth, the Galactic Council watched in horror as the reports came in. Their hopes had been pinned on the Terran fleet, and now it seemed that the end was near. Their last line of defense was crumbling, and there was nothing they could do to stop it. The Nexus Protocol had given them a brief hope, but it wasn't enough. The black ships were too powerful. "We need to evacuate Earth," one of the council members said, her voice trembling. "There's nothing more we can do." But others remained silent. Earth had been their home for so long. The idea of abandoning it was unbearable. Back in the heart of the battle, Zora's eyes were fixed on the monitors. The black ships were moving in for the final blow. The dark horizon was barely holding together. But she wasn't about to give up. Then, just as it seemed all was lost, a new signal appeared on her radar. At first, Zora thought it was a glitch. But no, this was different. "Captain, look," her communications officer shouted. "Another fleet is arriving, out of nowhere." Zora turned to the screen. A massive fleet of Terran ships, far more than she'd ever seen, appeared out of the darkness. These ships were unlike anything in her fleet, sleeker, more powerful, and armed with weapons designed to strike at the heart of the black ships. They're here," Zora whispered, her voice filled with disbelief. It wasn't just a fleet. It was Earth's hidden reserve fleet, the one the galaxy had no idea about. The fleet that had been kept in secret for just this moment. The Vanguard was among them. The battle turned on its head. The black ships, still reeling from the surprise appearance of Earth's hidden fleet, fought back, but they were outmatched. The black ships tried to retreat, but it was too late. The Terran forces had them surrounded. In a final, desperate attempt, the lead black ship fired a massive pulse of energy, aiming to obliterate Zora's flagship. But before it could connect, a barrage of fire from the new fleet destroyed the black ship's core, sending it into a fiery explosion. The remaining black ships scattered, vanishing back into the darkness from which they had come. The battle was over. The galaxy had survived. For now. Zara stood on the bridge of the dark horizon, staring out at the stars. Her crew had fought valiantly, and Earth had won, not through force alone, but through the unexpected strength of its hidden fleet. The war was not over, but the Terrans had sent a message to the galaxy. They were not to be underestimated. As the ships of the hidden fleet disappeared back into the void, Zora allowed herself a rare, brief moment of peace. But only for a moment. She knew the galaxy was far from safe. Tyrell couldn't sleep. Ever since that strange message, "You're looking too close," his mind hadn't rested. No one else on his crew knew what he was doing. He had kept the secret locked deep inside his private console. But now, someone, or something, was watching him. Tyrell paced inside his cabin, staring at the blinking screen. He thought about turning himself in, maybe reporting it to Admiral Relic. But another part of him whispered, what if the stories are wrong? What if the truth is even more terrifying? He reopened the file. The signal was still active, weak, broken, but still there. He enhanced the signal, bit by bit, line by line. And finally, he got audio. A voice, garbled, filled with static. But one word came through. Help. Tyrell's blood ran cold. Who was calling? From the silent sector. He replayed it. Help. Again and again. If someone was alive there, they were in danger. Maybe they had seen the human warships. Maybe they had survived. If true, this could be the first survivor of a human encounter. He had to go. Tyrell stood in front of his second-in-command, Mira, a calm and loyal officer. "I need you to prepare a stealth shuttle," he said. Mira raised an eyebrow. "Where are we going?" "A research mission. Alone. That's against protocol." "I know," Tyrell said. "I won't be gone long. Keep the ship near the edge of sector space. Don't follow me." Mira hesitated. "This is about humans, isn't it?" Tyrell didn't answer. Mira stepped back, then gave a small nod. "May the stars protect you." The shuttle was small and silent. Tyrell flew it alone, deep into the dark edge of the galaxy, toward the silent sector. The stars here looked different, faded, farther away. Space itself felt colder. No signals, no traffic, just emptiness. Tyrell followed the signal's path. Hours passed. Then the signal grew louder, and the words became clearer. "Please, help. It's watching." The voice sounded alien. Maybe Villari, maybe Xarn, but definitely afraid. Tyrell locked onto the source and flew toward it. Soon, he saw something. A ship, damaged, spinning slowly in space. It had no power, no lights, no sign of life. The ship's name was scratched onto the hull. Corax IV, Deep Scout Vessel. Tyrell scanned it. No life detected. But the signal was still coming, from inside. He docked carefully. His heart pounded as he entered the ship. Inside, it was cold, dark, silent. Flashlight in hand, Tyrell moved through the halls. Signs of struggle were everywhere. Scratches on the walls, burn marks, empty suits. Then he reached the control room. The screens were dead, but in the captain's chair sat a frozen body. Its eyes were still open. Tyrell stepped closer. Suddenly, a soft whisper echoed through the room. "It never left." He spun around. Nothing there. Then the main console flickered. Just once. A message appeared on the cracked screen. "You were warned." Tyrell backed away. The doors behind him slammed shut. "Computer, open the door," he shouted. No response. He tapped his comm. "Mira, respond. Do you read me?" Only static. Then something worse. Outside the broken ship, in the darkness, a shape moved. Tyrell stared through the window. At first, he thought it was just space dust. But then it shifted. A black triangle, smooth and silent, slowly passed by. No lights, no engines, no sound. A human warship. Right there, watching. Tyrell's heart stopped. The ship outside turned slowly, as if looking straight at him. Then it disappeared. Just gone. No flash, no sound, not even a ripple in space. Tyrell stood frozen. The console came back to life one last time. And this message appeared. "You saw too much." Back on Tyrell's main ship, Mira waited. The shuttle hadn't sent a signal in hours. She tried to reach Tyrell again. Still nothing. Then suddenly, his shuttle reappeared on their radar. It was heading back. Fast. They pulled it in. The crew opened the shuttle door. Tyrell was inside. Alive. But different. His eyes were wide. Unblinking. His hands shook. He said nothing. Just one word. "Run." Mira stared. Run. From what? But Tyrell didn't answer. Because deep in his mind, something else had come back with him. Something silent. Something dark. Something that did not want to be seen. "What's happening?" Sean shouted. They're retreating." Tyrell gasped. Mira couldn't believe it. It was impossible. The dark ships, the ones that had surrounded them, had suddenly faded away. They were no longer there. Then, a new voice crackled over the comms, louder and clearer. "This is Admiral Riker of the human fleet. You are safe now. All systems will be restored shortly." Mira's heart skipped. The humans. They were here. But why had they come so suddenly? And why had they intervened just when it seemed too late? We've been tracking the Dark Fleet for years. Admiral Riker's voice continued. They are not the humans, you know. They are an ancient force, far beyond our reach. But they are afraid of us. Mira's breath caught in her throat. What do you mean? They were following us, watching us. Why? They see us as a threat, the Admiral replied. A threat they cannot understand. And the silent sector is where we first encountered them. We've been studying them, waiting for the right moment to strike. But you were the ones who triggered their response. Mira looked out the window. The stars were still, calm now. The dark ships were gone. She couldn't believe what had just happened. What now? She asked. We'll restore your systems, Admiral Riker said. You're safe for now. But remember this, we are not alone. And these Watchers, they are just the beginning. There are many more we've yet to discover. The screen flickered, and the ship's systems slowly came back online. The lights brightened, and the hum of the engines returned. It felt like they had come back from the edge of the abyss. But Mira knew that this was only the beginning. The galaxy had secrets, dark ones, that were waiting to be uncovered. And humanity was the key to it all. As the ship's systems powered up, Mira turned to the crew. We have a lot to learn, she said, her voice steady. But for now, we've survived. Tyrell nodded, his eyes still haunted. We have a long way to go. The stars outside twinkled, silent and watchful. Humanity had entered the galaxy as unknowns, feared and whispered about. But now, they were something more. They were the guardians of the galaxy's future. And the silent Watchers had learned their place. The true story had just begun. Long ago, before the fear of human warships spread across the stars, there was a war. The humans had just joined the galaxy. At first, the other species laughed at them. Small, weak, and slow, humans looked like nothing to worry about. But then something changed. The humans began building ships, not big, not loud, but strange. Ships that didn't shine, didn't show up on scans, and didn't follow known rules of space warfare. The Galactic Alliance, the most powerful union of alien species, sent fleets to watch Earth. Then came the Battle of Orion Path. 12 fleets went in. None returned. No signal, no bodies, no wreckage, just silence. After that, the Great Treaty was signed. The treaty said, no alien ship shall enter Earth's solar system without permission. No alien fleet shall follow or scan any human warship. All human military movements are to be left alone. And most importantly, do not provoke them. No one argued, not even the warlike Jarnax or the proud Velari. Everyone signed it, because fear had entered every heart. Years later, far from Earth, a young alien officer named Turl stood inside a grand archive hall on the planet Serene. He belonged to the Nalari, a peaceful species known for science and exploration. Tyrell was curious, too curious. He stared at an old holographic sign on the wall. It said, Classified, Human Incidents. Access denied without Galactic Council clearance. Tyrell had always wondered about the humans. He had never seen one. Never even seen one of their ships. No one had. All he had were stories, whispers, shadows. But to him, it wasn't enough. He wanted proof. He walked down the hall to speak with his mentor, Admiral Relic, an older Nolari with many medals and scars. Sir, Tyrell said, why do we still follow the treaty? The war was over years ago. We're more advanced now. Relic stared at him for a long moment. You think fear is weakness? Tyrell nodded. Yes. We hide from ghosts. Relic sighed and stood up. Come with me. He led Tyrell to a locked chamber deep inside the vase. There, he showed him a small data cube. This is all that was left from the Zeran probe. It tried to scan a human ship, just once. Tyrell activated the cube. A shaky video appeared. Stars, static then. A black shape moving fast. Then a voice. Screaming. Alien. Terrified. Then silence. The screen went black. "That's it?" Tyrrell asked. Relic nodded. "That's all we ever got. But we don't know what really happened." Relic looked him in the eyes. "We don't need to. We know what happens when you look too close." Tyrrell left the room that night with a heavy mind, but his curiosity only grew stronger. Back on his ship, Tyrrell opened a hidden file. He had been tracking strange energy readings near the edge of known space, places where ships disappeared without explanation. He marked the locations. All of them formed a line, leading straight to Earth space. No patrols, no trade, no stations, only silence, he whispered. Then he found something new. A small signal. Weak. Fading. It came from a place called the Silent Sector, an area that the galaxy had marked off limits since the treaty. Ships that entered never returned. Tyrrell sat back in his chair, eyes wide. A message blinked on his screen. Signal source. Unregistered transmission. Origin unknown. He tapped a button. The screen flickered. Then a line of text appeared. In human language. "You're looking too close." Tyrrell froze. No one knew he was watching. No one had access to this channel. How did they know? He quickly shut everything down. But the message stayed, burned into the screen. His heart pounded. He had broken the rule. And now someone knew. In the next Galactic Council meeting, leaders discussed trade, politics, and border control. But no one brought up humans. They never did. The silence around Earth was stronger than laws. It was fear made real. Senator Grull of the Yulnak stood to speak. "I heard rumors that someone has been watching the Silent Sector," he said. No one spoke. He looked around the room. "Let me remind you all, the treaty is not just a paper, it's a warning." Still, no one spoke, because in their hearts, they all knew. The war didn't end with peace. It ended with fear so deep, no one dared speak the truth. And that truth was simple. Humans didn't win the war. They made the galaxy too afraid to start another one. Mira sat in the dark, staring at the sealed letter. The words danced in her mind. "You are now part of the silence." What did it mean? Who had sent it? And why was the council involved? The silence outside her window felt thick, oppressive. It wasn't the quiet of space anymore. It was the quiet of something watching. She couldn't shake the feeling that she was being observed. Every glance around her seemed to reveal nothing, yet everything felt off. The following morning, Mira met with the senior officers again. Their eyes were tired. They all knew what had happened was no accident. "The council wants answers," Sean said. "They're already asking about the Silent Sector. They know we went too close." Tyrrell stood at the back of the room. He hadn't said much since the trip. His face was pale, and his eyes still wide with fear. He looked more like a shell of the man he once was. "I've heard rumors." Tyrrell spoke, his voice soft but shaky. "That's why I went to the Silent Sector. Some say the humans aren't just watching. They're hunting." Mira turned sharply. "What do you mean hunting?" "I don't know," Tyrrell said, his voice barely above a whisper. "But I heard that once you've seen them, you can't hide from them. They know everything." The crew shifted uncomfortably. Mira felt a chill down her spine. She glanced at the window again. The stars seemed to stare back, distant and cold. Later that day, Mira received an encrypted message. It was from an unknown source. The message was short, with no introduction, just a warning. "The council knows too much. You're all in danger. Don't trust anyone. Leave while you can." The warning sent a shiver through her. Who sent this? Was it someone from the Silent Sector? Was it a survivor of an encounter with the human warships? She turned the message over and over in her mind. The council knew everything. But it seemed like they were hiding something even bigger. That evening, Mira and Turl were summoned to the council. The large cold chamber was filled with the leaders of many species. The council's members, tall and silent, sat in their high seats, their faces obscured by shadows. Admiral Relic stood at the center. His stern eyes never left Mira. "You have failed to report the full truth," Relic said, his voice booming through the chamber. "What did you find in the silent sector?" Mira glanced at Tyrrell. He looked like he was going to speak but didn't. He seemed trapped in his own mind, haunted by something. "We saw nothing," Mira said, her voice steady. "We made a routine check. There were no dangers, no threats." Ralik's eyes narrowed. "That's not what the report says." She hesitated. Her heart pounded. She wanted to speak the truth, but what would it cost? Would they believe her? Would they even help if they knew what had happened? "The truth is," Mira began, "we encountered something. Something. Dark. Silent. We were followed by something we couldn't see." The room fell dead silent. The council members exchanged glances. For the first time, they seemed uneasy. Ralik didn't move. "What is this? Something? You mean the human warships?" Mira nodded. "Yes, but they didn't follow us like we thought. They let us go. For now." "Let us go," one council member sneered. "These ships, these warships, are known for destroying entire fleets. Why would they let you go?" Tyrell stepped forward. His voice cracked, but he spoke with determination. "They didn't need to destroy us. They didn't need to show us their full power. The silence was enough." Another council member leaned forward. "Explain this silence. What are you talking about?" Tyrell's eyes locked with the leader. "It's not just a lack of sound. It's a presence, a feeling that someone, something, is always watching. It feels like they're inside your head." Mira glanced at Tyrell. The fear in his voice was real. They could all feel it. Ralik's face hardened. "Enough. This talk of invisible enemies is not to be taken lightly. The council has already acted." "What do you mean?" Mira asked. A screen in the center of the room flickered to life. A map of space appeared, highlighting a distant sector. "The silent sector is now off limits. It is classified. Any vessels that approach will be destroyed on sight. That includes your ship, Mira," Relic said, his voice icy. The stars were quiet. Deep space was calm, cold, and dark. In this silence, something strange appeared. A ship, huge, black, and silent, slowly drifted near the edge of the Xilari patrol zone. Captain Varuan of the Xilari fleet stared at the screen. His eyes narrowed. The object didn't match any known ship design. No energy signals, no heat, no movement, just a giant black shape in the dark. "Is it dead?" he asked. "No signs of life, sir. No power, no response. It's not really there," replied his officer. Varuan's ship was not small. It had scanners that could read a rock from across a star system. But this thing, this dark object, it gave back nothing. Not even a reflection. "Try again. Full spectrum scan," he ordered. The scanners sent powerful waves across the dark ship. Still nothing. No echoes. No readings. Then something strange happened. The ship's lights flickered. The crew's screens went black for 2 seconds, then returned. One word appeared on every screen. "Do not scan." The room went quiet. No one spoke. The crew looked at each other, confused and afraid. "Where did that come from?" the captain shouted. The officer shook his head. "Not from outside. It came from inside our own system, like something rewrote our code." Captain Varuan felt a chill in his chest. Only one race was ever rumored to do such things. But they were gone, or so everyone believed. He called High Command. Unknown ship detected. Black. Silent. Unscannable. It hacked our system with one warning. "Do not scan." Orders. High Command's reply came fast. and in a voice he had never heard so scared. "Back away. Do not engage. Do not scan again. That is a Terran warship." The crew gasped. One of the younger officers whispered, "Terran. That's a myth. Humans left the galaxy ages ago." The captain shook his head. "If they left, why is that thing here now?" The ship stayed in place. It didn't move. It didn't flash any lights, but somehow it felt like it was watching them. The auxiliary fleet sent a scout ship closer. Against orders, the scout's commander thought he could get a better reading. He launched a small probe toward the dark warship. The probe moved quickly through space. It crossed half the distance, then vanished. No sound, no explosion, just gone. Seconds later, the scout ship also disappeared. One moment it was there. The next, empty space. Not even debris remained. Panic hit the fleet. Officers screamed. Pilots begged to retreat. "Hold," shouted Captain Veruin, but even he was sweating. His mind raced. A ship that gave no signal. A probe and ship gone without a trace. A warning from their own systems. He turned to the communication officer. "Send one message to that ship. Just one. Use basic code." The officer nodded and typed. "We did not mean to scan. We will leave." No reply came. But the black warship began to turn, slowly, without noise or light. Its nose aimed directly at the auxiliary command ship. "Move us back," the captain yelled. Engines roared. The fleet pulled away. Fast. The dark ship didn't follow. It just remained there, silent again, watching. One older auxiliary engineer walked to the captain and said quietly, "I read about this in ancient reports. Stories we were told not to believe. Ships that killed without firing. Ships that could think. Ships with no crew." "What do they call them?" the captain asked. The engineer's voice shook. "Human ghosts." Far away, in the capital of the auxiliary empire, leaders gathered in secret. They looked at a blurry image of the black ship. It had no flag, no name, but one of the elders confirmed it. The shape, the silence, the way it hides. "It is Terran. Only humans build ships like this." Someone asked, "Should we prepare for war?" The elder shook his head. "No, war is not possible. You do not fight something you cannot touch. You only pray it does not notice you." The news of the dark warship spread through the stars. Whispers moved from empire to empire. The rule was repeated in every tongue, on every station, and in every dark corner of space. If you see a black ship with no signal, do not scan, do not speak, do not stay. The galaxy remembered something it had forgotten for years. Earth still exists, and its warships are not dead. They are just waiting.